everyone. Welcome back to Big Little Lessons. I'm here with Jenny, and it's summertime.
Oh, I mean, how much do teachers love summer?
Seriously. Actually, I was thinking, even we teachers love summer. I mean, the countdown is
It's real.
It's real.
And it's bittersweet because it's always hard to say goodbye to a class.
It's true.
And then you think, oh my gosh, I got to start all over with another group. How am I going to do this? But that's why you have summer.
You know, and it's the cycle that we've been experiencing our whole lives. And I just couldn't wait to have the whole summer in front of me. And I was a kid that didn't go to camp. You know, my parents, we lived in 2 different countries, so I would get on a plane and spend my whole summer in Spain. And it was incredible until the very end.
Yeah. And I did not go to sleepaway camp. I didn't go to day camps. I would hang out with the friends in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we would just do whatever we wanted. And
We ruled in the summer.
Yeah. And it was hard to imagine that teachers felt the same way because
But
they
they
seem to
do.
be like, we love being here at school and giving orders, but teachers feel the same
And
way.
we grew up and chose that life. So it just perpetuated, which I think is so funny.
I mean, for me, the month of July goes on. You know, August 1st is July 32nd. You know, it just, I don't want it to end. I want it to
Exactly.
stay in July. So we are talking today in the middle of July, and it's just a beautiful time and a time to kind of reflect and think about our practices as kindergarten teachers, working with parents and children. I know for me, I just got back from a big trip, which was
Incredible.
magical in every way. I walked the Camino de Santiago,
Oh,
the Portuguese
so
route.
wonderful.
So I started in Portugal and we ended in Spain and Santiago. It was incredible. But there was a couple of things that I noticed where I saw families interacting with their children in a beautiful way. And so the first one was my husband and I did a day trip to Sintra, which is this castle palace type thing up on this mountainous area outside of Lisbon. And we were in the shuttle bus van, and there was a lovely family from Canada. It was a mom and dad and their 2 boys, elementary aged. I would say the younger one was probably just finishing kindergarten. The other one was maybe 3rd or 4th grade. For 9 hours, we were with these people, and there wasn't one screen for 9 hours.
nobody, not parents, not kids.
No, I didn't see it. Maybe they took their phones out to take photos. I didn't tell them I was a teacher. I just was observing. You know, we made casual conversations, but because I didn't want to say, oh, I've been a teacher, and have them kind of be on guard. I wanted to observe this family in their family time. And it was amazing how calm these 2 children were throughout the day. And, you know, we had an hour shuttle ride to get to Sintra. And there was just quiet conversation. There was noticing little things outside the window.
How old were the kids?
I would say kindergarten and 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And I noticed the mom was so engaged with them. And then as the day went on, I did see one moment where we stopped off at this beachside town and they were walking. The little one was kind of hanging on her, and she just had enough. You know, he was hanging on her and she's like firmly saying, knock it off. I'm tired of holding your hand, which, you know, that's common. But I saw this family just interacting with each other. Like, we're here on this trip. Let's enjoy the moment.
I love that.
And these 2 children were calm the whole day. And I thought, you know, most of us, and if look, my girls are 27 and 30. If they were little, I probably would have some screens just in case. So I really admired this family.
So the point is, you know, this family made a decision to not have screens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we rarely see that. Yeah. We literally rarely see that.
I know.
I mean, I was at a barbecue yesterday, and again, a beautiful young family with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And the 4-year-old had the phone, and they were watching a show. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they didn't stay on it the whole time, but I thought, I wonder why they need to have the phone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that I would, you know, it's so easy for us to judge because again, our children are older and we didn't have it. And our kids started playing video games, and that was all a huge deal too, because it was connected to the internet and they were communicating with people they didn't know. And that was really scary. But we didn't have iPads or phones to hand them in the stroller. When I see that, I just cringe, honestly. I cringe, and it saddens me so deeply because I don't think parents realize the big picture, No,
they don't. Well, you think it's keeping the kids entertained so that you can have a break. And look, my girls watched TV when they were little, and I needed it. There was just times that I'm like, I just need a moment. But having a time limit is key, and making that known, because the kids, they really do need to be outside. They need to be playing. They need to be making free choices.
Right. Well, and I want to go back to where we started, because we had a summer of being unscheduled, right? So not only are these kids, are the students that we know on screens, they're also scheduled from morning till night.
Yep.
So I think in some ways, parents feel like this is their downtime,
Yes.
right? To be on a screen.
That they're safe because they're watching YouTube Kids.
Right.
And it's safe. But that's a screen. And by the way, it's not always safe.
Right.
You might think so, but it's not always.
I had some surgery this summer, and I spent a lot of time on the couch, and I found myself, I really noticed that the days where I watched a lot of TV or watched the news or was on a screen, it made me so depressed. I had this really sort of icky feeling inside my body, and we really have to pay attention to that. So I had a phone call from a mom the other day, and I really was so impressed by her vulnerability and transparency, because she shared with me that her son is really addicted to screens, right? He's going into second grade.
Oh, gosh.
And sweetest kid, she was noticing that her son, perhaps because of all his time on screens, really struggles with interacting with adults. And he has friends and he interacts with his friends, but he's not really great at not having, when there's downtime and nothing in front of him, it doesn't look good.
No. He needs a screen.
He needs a screen. And I said to this mom, what about you? Like, how often are you on screens? All the time. The answer was time. And I said, let's think about, check yourself. I said, look, I don't have all the answers of telling you what to do, but I can tell you right now that I honestly think this screen time is affecting your child in a negative way.
Yeah. You're modeling.
You're modeling it.
And I think for parents, they want to capture all the moments with their children, especially when they're little. You're like, oh my gosh, look at them digging a sandcastle. And so you have your phone available to capture the moments and videos, but then you're like, oh, somebody's texted me. Ooh.
Or you're uploading it, or you're posting it. Like, look how cute my kid is.
Look at it. Don't you want to know every second of my child's life?
You're sending it to somebody.
I know. Just last night, the girls came over. So we'd gotten home 2 days ago. We went to a restaurant locally, Mexican restaurant, because we hadn't had Mexican food for a few weeks. And we were together and we had a nice time. Nobody was on their phones at the restaurant. We had a nice dinner. So we had hours of conversation, but we came home. And why I just decided, well, let me just text, because we'd just gotten home. People have been texting to say welcome home and all that stuff. But my girls laugh at me because when I'm on the phone checking text or emails, I have a gift to be able to ignore everything around me.
You're locked in.
And all of a sudden I hear this, she's doing it again. I'm like, what? And they're like, you completely tune out. And I'm like, you're right. I mean, we were saying goodnight and saying goodbye. Why did I have to have my phone out right now? You have to make a conscious effort because we live in a world where we can be contacted 24/7.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. But
that's the real challenge. So it's easy to tell a parent, look, I really do believe this is a problem. Limit screen time.
I had one family, they were concerned because they could see their child kind of jumping out of their skin because they needed to have that dopamine rush of video games, the iPads, the whatever they're doing on those iPads. They need it. I said, well, how often are they on the iPad every night? And they're like 3-4 hours. I was gasping because to just take it away would be a complete withdrawal, So I was like, well, let's start shortening it by half-hour increments.
Right.
So instead of 4 hours, How about 3.5? And just keep whittling it down, and whittling it down.
Yeah, you can't go cold turkey. It
No,
just doesn't seem right. But it's really sort of rethinking the structure of the day. You know, like we're all busy. A lot of parents are not going to the office, but all their work is on a screen, right? So they have to be on a phone. So like if your kid is in the pool, you're on the phone. If your kid is playing Legos, you're on the phone. You have to think about saying, I'm working now, and then stop.
Yes. And setting timers is the best way. Because you can get lost. All of a sudden, I mean, have you done this on Instagram? I mean, there's some good stuff on Instagram, by the way. It is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this comedian's so funny. Or there's some shopping I can do. And it's so convenient. But all of a sudden, I've been on this for 30 minutes, just like that.
It's Instagram, and then it's looking on Pinterest, which is what I do because or teachers pay teachers.
Oh, yeah. Those are so fun.
It's a rabbit hole, and it takes you down one hole and then through another. And you just, next thing you know, you've been on for 2 hours. Yeah. And it's not healthy. I also think my eyes are getting worse.
Oh.
I mean, I'm a 58-year-old, but I honestly think it's not helpful.
No, it's not helpful.
So as we are having this conversation, I'm in my mind thinking, how can I be better?
Right.
How can I be
well,
better?
that's, walking this Camino was...
Yeah, talk about the Camino.
Oh, gosh. So Dave and I were with a group. There was a total of 20 of us. We walked for 9 days, and we would have to be up early. You're trying to have some protein because you're going to be walking anywhere from 12 to 16 miles a day. A couple of the days were really hot, but you were really busy because sometimes you were switching hotels, so you had to have your bags out at a certain time. You had to be ready to go. You don't want to hold the group out. And so we'd go ahead and start walking at 8:45.
Did everybody stay together, or was
No, because some people are fast walkers. We had all ages and stages. Okay. So we had people as young as, well, they weren't young. So the youngest was 42, and the oldest was probably 75.
Impressive.
There was a couple of people really fast walkers. And so you want to find your own
rhythm,
because if you walk too slow or walk too fast, problems can happen. I didn't really know anybody. I knew one other couple, and then everybody else was brand new to me. And the first couple of days, I'm like, I'm not here to make more friends. I have enough friends. There was a day where a bunch of the gals had been friends for a long time, and they're handing me the phone. Oh, could you take pictures of us? I'm like, sure. I'm the odd person out. I'm never going to have friends here. And then Dave reminded me, you're here to walk the Camino. I'm like, you're right. I miss my friends. Where's my group? But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But then something happened while we're walking miles and miles. We had our phones out to take a photo or two. But what happened was, as you're out in this beautiful countryside, going through little towns and seeing animals and nature and streams, you're just disengaged with the real world. I noticed everybody was getting a little happier and more content. Little by little, I was having really nice conversations with each person. And I can honestly say at the end of 11 days, I had a great conversation with all 20 people, I was one of 20, so 19 people. Mm-hmm. It was nice to be in a rhythm, walking side by side. And we were just putting one foot in front of the other out in beautiful countryside. Mm-hmm. And even during we're sweating or hungry, we need to use the restroom or we needed more cafe con leche, mm-hmm. there was something about not having the screens, not sitting at a desk that was so magical. I just thought this is what we're supposed to be doing, connecting with one another and not having all these distractions, not having the TV on or even music, which we all like to have music, but it was just peaceful. Peace. And I think about that in our classrooms. We want to create that community where the kids are talking to one another. And I thought, how have we had that in our classrooms? And I'm like, oh, Friday choice time. Mm-hmm. Think about what we do. You
open it up. Yeah. So on Friday afternoons, we have an opportunity for the children. We call it choice time. Actually, my students would always call it happy face time.
Yes.
Because I had a little happy face on my schedule. And favorite time of the week for sure for them, because we allow them to make a choice and literally play for, there's no more play in kindergarten, sadly, which is
so sad.
A conversation we could have at another time for sure. Time to play, explore different friendships, to try things out that they've never tried before. We have a dollhouse, we have a kitchen, And everyone at some point would end up there because it was so fun for them.
One of the favorite places is the paper table. Put out reams of white plain paper, writing tools, whether it's crayons or markers or color pencils. Scissors. They love scissors. And sometimes stamps or stickers. They were so content. And they always find something to do with it. And they teach each other.
There's so much creativity. As a teacher, my favorite thing is at the beginning of the year, they definitely need more hand-holding in terms of how to navigate being with one another. But by the end, you just sit back and enjoy the show. And it's so beautiful because they have figured it out.
Yes. And I think what I notice, similar to the Camino, they're sitting side by side, using their hands and creativity. And the conversations that come out are calm.
It makes me want to cry.
When you think about it, they encourage one another. They're not having to think in a way of like learning new stuff, which is part of being in kindergarten, is they're learning and trying new things. Instead, they get to just like, I really like to just draw hearts over and over and over again. And I'm really good at it. Right. And they're really confident. And that's what I love seeing, is just this connection with others.
Connection, keyword.
And so they're busy doing, and sometimes they're listening and sometimes they're talking, but they're just at peace. And about
the beautiful part
happy
about
face
it.
time / choice time.
Yes.
And if you can kind of encourage that at home too, and sometimes you want to have a little schedule. It's okay to have a little screen time or whatever, but be intentional.
Right.
Don't just let it go, whatever.
So these
Do whatever
kids in the summertime wake up, go to camp, come home from camp, inevitably have a lesson, a piano lesson, a swim lesson, a tennis lesson, a baseball lesson. A basketball coach comes over. It's
so true.
So really, if you think about it, it's not that daunting. I mean, you don't have a lot of time to just be.
Yeah.
And I used to tell my kids, I made 2 of you for a reason. I'm not going to play with you. You have to figure it out.
We're always reading research about it's okay to be bored. That's when you can start to be creative.
Right.
And you need to schedule that and just kind of say, like, today's a day to just, you figure it out what you want to do. And slowing down is okay.
Well, slowing down, I started something in my classroom too, where when children are finished, they're so used to being told what's next. And I'm like, you know what? Twiddle your thumbs. Because literally it's not a long time. And there's something to thumb twiddling. It's really hard because we've moved in a direction away from what's important, connecting. We've really lost sight of what we're meant to be doing. The truth is, it takes work, but it's not impossible.
No, I think it's being intentional and letting kids just kind of be. And sometimes when they're on those screens all the time, they get jittery. And so you're like, they really just need to calm down. And maybe they need to just be running outside, and there's times for that. Interesting from our perspective in teaching kindergarten, the more screens they have, the more jittery they become.
Right.
And I mean, how much did we cry during 2020 and 2021 when everything was 6 feet apart and mask on?
And it was all screens.
Zoom screens. It was so unnatural and so wrong. And so there has been some unwinding of that.
Yeah, if we could all think about that and what that did to all of us, because it affected all of us, and think about the implications that it has on small children. So
worst.
Yeah.
I've thought about you because you've done these cooking camps, and I wanted to hear. I just love the idea of kids being in a kitchen or being in a woodworking shop or being on a theater stage. Can you share a little bit about your experience with cooking camps and how that's such a win-win for you? Because you've really enjoyed it as well.
I would love to. So first of all, I love cooking.
Yes.
And I love children.
She's a really good cook too.
Thank you.
Kristine brings in her goodies. I'm like, yes, please.
So I've created these little cooking classes at my home. And I'm really lucky because I live in I work in a community where I have relationships with family, and I can invite children to participate. And, as a result, I've developed all these great little classes and recipes. And And it's like three to 4 hours with about 5 or 6 kids. And they come over, and we usually have a theme, and we gather together and we talk about the recipes. They're just so happy to get into it, to get cooking. And there's never any, I mean, sometimes we put music on, it's never a question as to this is what we're doing,
Okay.
It's happening, and they love it. They love getting their hands dirty. They love making the recipes. They feel such pride in what they've created. And then they love bringing it home to share. We usually also do a craft. But again, I mean, look, it's 3 to 4 hours of, really engaging, honestly, because these are children that I've taught, and I have relationships with them. And they share things about, themselves and their relationships. And I mean, I get to hear like the little gossip, the second grade gossip of what's happening, which is so much fun.
Oh, of course it is.
So much fun. So it is true connection. It is true connection. And the parents, I feel like, love the opportunity for this to happen because, of course, like I'm doing it. They don't have to do it.
Yep.
But it's not that hard to do. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I guess the point is children are so easy to please.
Yep.
They don't need a lot.
They don't.
They don't need a lot. These cooking classes have been so wonderful for me and for the children.
I love that it's a small group. You're keeping them highly engaged. They're all busy, but you have a plan and a purpose.
Right.
But you're also very flexible. That's one of the things that I've always admired about you as a teacher. I think about one that you've had for years. We name all our students Charlie, but you also used her as a helper as well because she just loved it so much. But you geared some of your cooking classes based on some of her interests as well.
Exactly. That's what you have to do, right? Tap in and read the room. Always read the room.
Oh, that's a whole podcast in itself.
For example, if you have 4 recipes planned and the students are burning out, you don't do the 4th recipe. You do something else. You take them out. I have a beautiful backyard. We go outside. They need little brain breaks too. So, because for the smaller children, it's a lot.
Yep.
So you do have to just listen to what they need and give them what they need. But it is 4 hours of being together, getting to know each other. And I really think that these students that come to my house to have this experience will grow and remember this as something really special.
I remember when my nephews and nieces and my girls were little, I would try out stuff on them, things that I wanted to do in kindergarten. I'm like, all right, come on over. I need to make homemade ice cream in a bag. And I have those pictures.
I remember that, yeah.
And it's like, it was so fun. I need all of you over. So it'd be 6 of us. And we would try out different things. If it doesn't work with you all, it's not going to work in kindergarten. But now I look back so fondly, 20 years later, I look back on those photos. Those were memory-making type of activities.
Yes.
So I just think there has to be some intention of unscheduled time just to kind of be.
Yes.
And just like if you want to be in your pajamas all day, maybe even call it pajama day or pajama morning and just kind of hang. Or like today we're going to go to the beach and just enjoy the waves. Collect some shells. I don't have to do anything.
It's summer. Like you don't have to do anything. Honestly, if you stay up late with your family because it's family movie night or something, and then you don't want to wake up in the morning, let your kids sleep in if they can.
Yeah.
They don't need to go to camp at 9:00. Like they can just show up.
It's camp and it's unstructured and it's fun. Just turn them off. Be intention of when you're going to be on screens. Right. And I know for me, I've had to, if I'm reading a book, if I have that phone near me, I just constantly check for messages. And I'm like, put the phone in another room.
Put the phone down.
Yeah.
Put the phone down. Yeah. I do notice when the parents that are like, this summer it's mommy and daddy camp. We're staying home. We're not doing a lot. Like, I feel like those kids are different.
They are.
Than the kids that are constantly needing to be busy. I was thinking as we were talking about parents who are enamored by young kids being able to navigate an iPad or a phone. Like for some reason, because they didn't grow up doing it, they think, oh, my child is so smart, they're learning. they're on this app and they can answer questions and they're learning to read. They're really not. They're really, truly not. Trust us.
Beyond, because the simple things like our big book is a fan favorite. And that is just, it's a big book and it's pictures of these 5 animals, Animal Island, and you push a little cassette tape and it just tells a story.
It's like an audiobook.
It's an audiobook. I like to keep it on cassette because it's so old fashioned. Forward and rewind and turn the cassette over.
What is that?
This old piece of technology. But it, 5 minutes in the afternoon as we finished packing up for the day, it was just magic because it's not flashing. It's not zeroing in. There's no screen. It's just listening with your ears and enjoying and creating a story in your mind, which is beautiful. As seasoned women, 58 years old, I've been in, and I know you've always enjoyed this too. They call them granny hobbies like crocheting or puzzling.
Board games.
As adults, it's so important to have those kinds of things where we're slowing down and just enjoying something, creating something without it being on a computer or screen.
But I think our kids really are so grateful for those times. There was a family that was traveling this summer and they would share some photos with me from time to time of their travels, and they looked so happy.
Yes.
And they were just together. They were just together having experiences, and you don't have to go anywhere. You can go on a walk in the evening. How about that? Like instead, after dinner, go on a walk. It doesn't have to be anything huge, but, get out a board game.
Yes.
It's not a big deal.
I did see a family, again, on the trip. There was a 3-hour train ride. And I was so impressed. I mean, they sat and had a little conversation. And again, these were grade school age kids. And then they brought out a deck of Uno cards and they played that for a little while. And I thought, wow, it's another family not having screens. This is unbelievable. And then about halfway through, the kids had their laptops out. And I'm like, you know what? It's a long train ride. Right. And they did have about half the time conversation and playing a card game. And then they had the second part of their train trip with some home entertainment, which was appropriate. So I'm not saying don't have it at all, but just limit it.
It has to be a balance. My preference would be that we could find a way to do away with it for small children. Yeah. I have this vivid memory of I was in my 20s and I was traveling and I was in Paris and I was at this art gallery and I was having a conversation with the person that I was with and some other people. And there was a couple, they were probably like in their 40s, and then their teenage son was there. And the way they were together, just the way they were interacting and how they were so warm and just like hugging each other. And the son was so locked in with the parents and the parents were so locked in with the son. And I thought, oh, that's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want. I want that. How can I get that? Yeah. And the way that you can get it is just by connecting as much as you can, and it's building because it doesn't all of a sudden, boom, your kids don't all of a sudden get to be teenagers and then they're going to connect with you. The work has to start from the beginning.
Yes.
It has to start from the beginning. There's no reason that I can think of, and I don't think anybody would win an argument trying to prove that giving technology to a 3-year-old is a valid
way to build your relationship.
Yeah.
I know when I think about your story about the mom crying to you about her child, what did you offer? What did you suggest for her? Because her child right now is on the screen a lot.
Right. Well, the first thing was to check herself in terms of her amount of phone usage in front of her kid, to make sure that there was a time and a place for it, that she wasn't walking around saying, okay, get off your screen as she's looking at her phone, right?
Exactly.
So that modeling piece is tremendous. Yep. And like what you said, which is what I love, is don't just take it away. You can't just take it away. Because first of all, these kids are addicted. It's like a drug. It's like that dopamine gets your brain going. There's been so many studies on it. Why would you do that to your kid? It's like giving your kid a drug. So to wean off it, like you wean off anything that's potent, and to think of ways to engage that are not, I mean, in this case, I said maybe you need some professional help because it felt like a big problem.
Yes.
So that also was my recommendation because we have so much available to us, in terms of therapies and coaches and people that could come in and help us if we needed that. But we can tell you right now, we're giving you the answer.
Right. And that's the thing. I think summer is such a great time to kind of reevaluate. How are you spending your summer days? Is it being filled with all sorts of fun, or is it just overscheduled? Just kind of take some moments to reevaluate.
Right. Like summer should not be like the rest of the year. It should not be like you're in survival mode, But I mean, and the rest of the year too, like kids shouldn't come home from school when they're small, and if they don't have homework and they don't have anything scheduled, they should not be going on a screen.
No. I mean, let's face the truth. Most parents are dual working families.
Yeah.
So camps are necessary, but how can those summer evenings look? Now that they don't have to be up and at 'em for school, can you have some flexibility? Can your weekends look really differently than during a school year? And so even, for adults, the sun is out longer. Let's enjoy that outdoor eating, picnic time or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's that's what I've always loved about summer. It's kind of a reset, a reboot. Like what's working well with our family? What is kind of irritating me? What's not working?
It is the best time to practice what we're talking about.
Yes.
So once school starts and you hit the ground running and life gets crazy, but if you at least have these summers to look forward to where you're just unplugging and like, this is what our family does, and maybe Charlie's family doesn't do that, but this is what we do in our family, unplug.
True confessions. My girls, when they were in lower elementary, I never allowed them to have a TV in the room. That was like my big thing. There will never, ever be a TV in your room. Oh my gosh. They'd balk at it and beg. And
or a computer.
Yeah, we didn't have computers at the time,
that's
right?
true.
So, we got our first home computer. I think our daughter was in kindergarten or first grade, and there was one computer, and it was not in anybody's bedroom. Then I realized every day they come home from school, they were just hopping on the TV. They would be out in the family room, so I could see what they were watching. I'll never forget the day I just decided there is no screen time during a weekday.
Right.
Monday through Thursday. So I would still let them have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There is no TV. Yeah. And my daughter, you would have thought I was chopping off her arm. She's like, no. But now that they're young adults, they're like, that was probably the best thing you could have done. Yeah. And so, no, it wasn't pretty. I'm not going to say it. And the more she was screaming about it, the more I was like, I'm serious. It's just, you don't have time.
Right.
And it's not doing us any favors. So that was just our family rule during the school year.
It's a great rule. Yeah. I can't remember what my rule was, but I don't think we had it. I mean, we definitely didn't have TV in their bedroom. I mean, they might have been able to watch like 30 minutes.
Well, now both girls have TVs in their rooms and their laptops and their iPhones and their Kindles. At least they're growing up years. I had a little bit of say-so.
Right.
But, we've talked about it as a family. As you're moving on, how are you spending your days?
Right.
And so they have to check and balance their own lives too.
No, I've had conversations with my kids too about it, and they have noticed the difference when they're not like looking at what everyone else is doing. And my older son has said that to me. He's like, I just feel so much better because I've taken a step back. And it really does affect your mental health.
It does.
So it doesn't stop. It doesn't ever stop. I'm excited about having this conversation because even though I'm mindful, I could always be doing better.
Yeah, me too.
I could always be doing better. Like, it's true. Like when you go to a restaurant with your friends, you do check your phone. Like, why do you need to check your phone?
Well, that's the thing. I've taken this great trip and I've like, I should put it on Instagram. I'm like, or should I? Like, do people really want to see it? And do I need to share it? I don't feel like I need to. It's just added pressure. So that's my 2 cents.
It's a good 2 cents. And hopefully, we can all think about this.
Yeah. Reset and enjoy the summer. Stay up a little later and enjoy the sunshine and the warm
Eat lots
evening.
of watermelon.
Oh, yeah. I love watermelon.
Have barbecues.
Oh, yes.
Summer's
yes.
the best.
Go for walks, talk side by side.
Yes.
Do whatever.
Love
Well,
that.
Kristine, I'm so glad we got to be together today. I've really missed you.
I've missed you too, Jenny.
And I look forward to our next episode. What are we going to talk about?
We will figure it out. We have so much to say.
Well, thank you all for listening to Big Little Lessons. And until next time.
Take care.